Wrath and anger are hateful things, yet the sinner hugs them tight. So we hear today. Our world, our modern society, seems to base itself not on brotherly love and the just distribution of resources, not on the way of the Christ, but on wrath and anger and vengeance and the merciless pursuit of power and wealth. In September of 2013, the world was in a state of extreme violence, with the nation of Syria being ripped to pieces at that time. The Holy Father delivered a powerful speech in St. Peter's Square, pleading desperately for peace. His words ring true for every time and every nation, and it is worthwhile to repeat excerpts of his heartfelt plea in our own day. I would like, he said, to add my voice to the cry which rises up with increasing anguish from every part of the world, from every people, from the heart of each person, from the one great family which is humanity. It is the cry for peace. War never again war. Peace is a precious gift which must be promoted and protected. How much suffering, how much devastation, how much pain has the use of arms carried in its wake, especially among civilians and the unarmed. I think of the many children who will not see the light of the future. With utmost firmness I commend the use of chemical weapons. There is an inescapable judgment of God and of history upon our actions. Never has the use of violence brought peace in its wake. War begets war. Violence begets violence. What can we do to make peace in the world? As Pope John the 23rd said, it pertains to each individual to establish new relationships in human society under the mastery and guidance of justice and love. All men and women of good will are bound by the task of pursuing peace. I make a forceful and urgent call to the entire Catholic Church, and also to every Christian of other confessions, as well as to followers of every religion, and to those brothers and sisters who do not believe. Peace is a good which overcomes every barrier, because it belongs to all of humanity. I repeat forcefully, neither a culture of confrontation nor a culture of conflict can build harmony within and between peoples, but only a culture of encounter and a culture of dialogue. This is the only way to peace. May the plea for peace rise up and touch the heart of everyone, so that they may lay down their weapons and allow themselves to be led by the desire for peace. At the end of this powerful speech, the Holy Father invited all people of goodwill throughout the world to join him in a day of fasting and prayer for peace on September 7th, 2013. And indeed, 100,000 people gathered together with him in St. Peter's Square and prayed until midnight. Throughout the world, churches and mosques opened their doors, responding to the Pope's call for unified prayer for peace. The Grand Mufti of Syria called upon all Muslims there to go to their mosques at the very time the Pope was praying in Rome, to unite their own fasting and prayer with those of their Catholic brothers and sisters throughout the world. Perhaps never before in the history of humanity had so many people of different faiths been united in simultaneous prayer for a common cause. The world was profoundly moved by the words and actions of the Pope. I remember reading the words of one gentleman who wrote, I have always been an atheist. I have never listened to any religious leader, but I find myself listening to this man. With the weapons now available to humanity, weapons that are capable of destroying the entire planet, the entire human race, how can any end ever again justify war? War, never again war. Pope Francis was echoing the very words used by Pope Paul VI in 1965 in his address to the United Nations as the Vietnam War was raging. Words which have been echoed by every pope ever since. On the very eve of the insane bombing of Iraq, Pope John Paul II sent his special envoys to Washington to plead quite literally on their knees for the cause of peace. Other powers prevailed at that time, but history has proved the Pope was right. Jesus' teaching of compassion, forgiveness, and peace is clearly echoed in the plea of the Holy Father that night, as he reminded the whole world, violence and war are never the way to peace. May the noise of weapons cease. War always marks the failure of peace. It is always a defeat for humanity. Let us not allow humanity to be defeated. Let us not allow humanity to be destroyed. But may the way of the God of love prevail.